We have breaking news in the NFL surrounding the Green Bay Packers. They are planning to release cornerback Jaire Alexander from the team. Y'all know we're going to talk about it and break it all down right after this.
Welcome to your number one spot for all NFL news and content, NFL Central.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another episode of NFL Central, your number one spot for everything NFL. I'm your host here, Bobby, and I'm bringing you breaking news on today's daily episode. Yes, according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, the Green Bay Packers are expected to release cornerback Jaire Alexander after him being with the squad for a couple years now. Now, it doesn't come as a surprise to me, but I think that it's a major loss for the Green Bay Packers, who are going into this season expecting Jordan Love to be like that and that defense to be a good support system for this Green Bay Packers team. Now, I know that they've been going back and forth for some time now. We talking about Jaire Alexander and my man's Matt LaFleur. There's been some things said coming from both sides, that kind of happened behind the scenes when it comes to both guys pretty much saying some stuff. But I think that right now, hey, we come to the conclusion it's been over. It's been over between the Green Bay Packers and Jaire Alexander. But the release is expected to fully take place on Tuesday. Today is Monday. If you still tweaking off of yesterday and watching those finals, it was a late one. But nonetheless, we get to see some different things happen around the NFL that could tremendously impact these teams. And one of those teams, I think this is a huge hit to, is the Green Bay Packers, simply because Jaire Alexander has made 2 Pro Bowls in 2020 and 2022 for the Green Bay Packers. But I do understand it to a degree that pretty much what was expected and coming out of said discussions leading up into this point was that the Green Bay Packers was going to come to the table with Jaire Alexander, and there was some type of speculation that maybe a trade will happen with Jaire Alexander, but a lot of teams wasn't really going to bite on that. Let's keep it real, because they seen the relationship that was taking place between the Green Bay Packers and Jaire Alexander. And it was like, yeah, we're not traded for him. We know y'all, he wants to be released. That's what he was kind of alluding to this past offseason thus far. They've already taken some time and started their offseason program, and Jaire was reportedly not taking place in that. He did pop up to the Zoom meeting, though, but he was not on the actual football field putting in some work with the his teammates at the time, now former teammates on the Green Bay Packers. So you kind of was speculating and trying to understand it. Now, I will mention that like maybe a little bit over a month ago that Matt LaFleur came to, and there was questions about, the state of Jaire Alexander, where they was asking questions about Jaire Alexander. And my man's Matt LaFleur, the head coach for the Green Bay Packers, said, I don't have many updates in regards to where we're at in that whole situation. I just know we're trying to work through it. And that's typically what happens. You know what I'm saying? I know that sometimes coaches and front office just say to hell with stuff, but the most proper thing is to say, hey, we're going to work it out. But typically, that's the more political, for lack of a better word, to throw out there for a said player like Jaire Alexander. Maybe they were actually trying to work on it, but if you look at it for what it is, you kind of knew that the writing was on the wall. Now, I will mention that the Green Bay Packers, they did try to address the cornerback situation over there. They already had guys like Keeson Nixon over there starting on the opposite side of Jaire Alexander, and then they had some, guys fill in. And then in this year's draft, in the 7th round, they picked up a cornerback, Michael Robinson, out of Tulane. That's a 7th round pick. That does not mean he can't come in and fill the void for the Green Bay Packers. But I do have my concerns. You are a 7th round pick for a reason. However, sometimes you just don't get the notoriety or get the respect that you are deserved based on, certain things that transpired. But I will say, if you can play football, typically it doesn't always matter where you play if you're really like that. So we'll see what the young fella, Michael Robinson, coming out of Tulane is really made of. I think it'll be very, very interesting to say the least to see what he could provide this team. And then in the offseason, the Green Bay Packers also went out there and they signed a cornerback in Nate Hobbs. And pretty much people from Las Vegas, because he's coming from the Las Vegas Raiders, he played inside. So my man's Nate Hobbs was playing inside over there with the Las Vegas Raiders, and now he's expected to play outside and fill the role of a Jaire Alexander. At least that's what it looks like. My man Steve O joining. What's the word, big dog?
Yo, yo. Hey,
Man,
man. Hey, I mean, I ain't gonna say it's shocking, but like, damn, I mean, I don't know if it was in their best interest, but at the same time, when you have something just not on the same page, you a player, I don't. To me, it seemed always more like I would say a front office problem.
yeah.
Like the front him and the front office never really had the greatest relationship. And then with all the movements that we've seen that happen, you seen them bring in the safety they bring in. It'd be about 2 years ago. So like you seen like other people get certain type of treatments. You seen other people get paid. And you seen other people this, that, and the third. So we knew the relationship between the Green Bay Packers and Jaire Alexander wasn't the best, but he was still when healthy. Keyword when healthy, still a pretty solid, damn near one of the best corners in the game, and definitely a dynamic player. So I thought they was gonna do whatever they had to do to keep him. But to wake up this morning to see that they was like, yeah, we couldn't come to agreement and shit just wasn't working out. So we gonna let you free. It's gonna take a hit on the secondary for sure.
Yeah, because the guy that you're talking about is Xavier McKinney, who came over, I believe, from the New York Giants. They
Yep,
paid him a nice contract, and it
yep.
was reported that my man's Jaire Alexander wanted some more money, but the Green Bay Packers wanted him to take less money, and you know that's never a good thing, right?
Especially for a corner.
He ain't trying to hear that. He ain't trying to hear that. But I think that it's definitely gonna be an interesting look on them for the Green Bay Packers. But typically this is how they do business. They don't really go they'll pay some guys, but they ain't paying everybody, and they lean heavily on the young guys that they bring into their program. But do you how big of a hit is this in your mind? Like, does this now cost them some games? Do you think that the defense takes a step back? Like, how you looking at that situation?
I won't say they take a complete step back, but it's gonna be some games that's won and lost because they couldn't stop somebody. And if they can't stop one of the top wide receiver, like many times that we've had those problems, you can play some pretty good defense all you want, but when it comes down to the crunch time and it's time to win, and all it takes is a one drive. Because a lot of people talking about that game, I'm gonna bring it up when we played the Minnesota Vikings, and I think Jay Jets only finished with like 60 yards, and they was like, "Well, he ain't do nothing." I'm like, he went down and hunted down that drive when it mattered. So does it really matter at stats at the end of the day when it's time to get that crucial stop? Can you get it or not? And Jair was one of those people like here in the game with an interception or here in the game with the ball being batted down. He was one of those type of players. And now that you don't have that player no more, there's going to be a lot of key games that was come down to the stretch that they possibly can lose because of this situation.
Yeah, I think that did. I think it's a major hit. Me too, personally, simply because if you look at within the division, the Bears, they got a nice wide receiver core. You got Rome that's expecting to take a step forward. DJ
Hmm.
just pick up Colston Loveland and Luther Burden. We'll see what that does for the Chicago Bears. You added in the Minnesota Vikings. You got Justin Jefferson, and then on the other side, uh, Addison. And
Jordan.
then, you know what I'm saying, TJ Hawkinson is still a threat over there. And then you still looking at the Detroit Lions. You still got JMO. You still got Amon-Ra St. Brown. So within your own division, you're going to need some solid cornerbacks. And right now, the only thing I'm really seeing is, a couple guys that's been around for a while, but they not on the level of Jaire Alexander. And I do understand the injury concern when it comes to Jaire, because he only played in 7 games the last 2 seasons, which is, a big no-go for a team, especially for a player that wants to re-up on a contract. yeah, if you can't stay healthy, they not gonna be really willing to pay you.
especially at that position. Like it's constant collisions, it's constant tackling, it's constantly hits. If you can't stay healthy as a cornerback, your days is numbered. That's just what is what it is. Especially your days is numbered as becoming a high paid cornerback, because high paid cornerbacks turn the ball over and don't get hurt. And he does both of those things. And that's and plus he's getting to an age where like he ain't getting no younger. Like he's only getting older as well. So I think they also the age factor was also I think was a reason why they just go on and went and said, we're just gonna release him.
Yeah, I think that's because they knew their ass wasn't about to come on to nothing closer close to what they thought they was gonna be able to retain him for. And he said no. But right now, just listening to the cornerback room and it's a bunch of names, but we know that some of these guys may not make it. Right now, it's just an overload on the roster simply because training camp is rolling around. But these guys got a lot of cornerbacks in here. Just to name a few: Jonathan Baldwin, Isaiah Dunn, Kamal Hayden, Tyron Herring. They picked up Nate Hobbs, Gregory Jr., Kalen King, Keeson Nixon, who started games for them last season, and then their rookie Michael Robinson kind of rounds out all those names. So they're gonna have to figure out something and see what guy is gonna be able to give them the most coming out of this whole training camp. But the good thing is that they did it ahead of training camp, and you
Yeah.
got some work in with some guys that was already around in mini camp, so you can figure this out.
Yeah, they got enough people to figure out some replacements for I just say foreseeable future. I don't think this is something they can really address right now. This is an off season next year, next few years type of something to replace with. So yeah, if you can find somebody reasonable and just good enough to get you through this year, durable, tough, that could get you through the year, that would be perfect. But yeah, I hope they just not trying to sit here and trying to figure out who can be the replacement right now, because that's just not likely to happen.
Yeah, because if you look at their draft, bro, the Green Bay Packers, they didn't take a cornerback. They took a wide receiver, O lineman, another wide receiver, a edge, and a DT before they even got to the corner. So they kind of neglected that type of I from outside looking in, they neglected that entire situation because if you had some type of foresight, in my opinion, you will understand that there was a strong chance that Jaire could be gone. This is not something that's new. Y'all been going back and forth for the last year or two now.
Yeah,
So yeah, they kind of neglected that, and we'll see how it affects their team.
yeah. I don't like I said. I don't think it's gonna be something huge, but I don't think it's something they can completely ignore.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's gonna be very, very evident early on because the Green Bay Packers, bro, that schedule for them ain't easy as well. So it's gonna be a dogfight for them regardless. And they're gonna have to figure out a lot of things. And then that's just adding on more pressure to your high paid quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They all gonna
Can't
have to
turn. You
overcome
really
some
can't
stuff.
turn the ball over now.
And that D line, the expectations for that D line, guys gonna have to, you
All
know what I'm
right.
saying? Quay Walker, you Rashawn Gary's, and your Lucas Van Ness, all those guys gonna have to rise up to the occasion and be able to, because that's one thing, that's one way that you help your cornerbacks is about applying that pressure from your pass rush. And if they
Yeah.
can do that, then you should be okay. Maybe not necessarily great in the cornerback room,
Yeah. You should
but
make some shape.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hey, it is what it is. My man's Jay Capone joining the chat today. What's up, my boy? He talking about
Yeah.
FGB.
Uh,
But hey, we bringing those breaking news, man. Definitely gonna continue to keep y'all covered around the NFL. I expect more things to come out of this. I think there should be some more teams making some moves coming up soon. So y'all know we gonna be locked in and ready to go. Steve-O, you got anything left, bro?
no, I hope y'all gotta go get a fucking cornerback, because Rome finna be on y'all ass. So I hope y'all figure it out.
On the real, it's gonna be interesting to see you know what I'm saying, what free agent, if there is a free agent that's out there. Just real quick before we go, do you go take a swing at a Jalen Ramsey? No,
Like them getting old dudes just don't work out for them.
that one healthy though. He
He
still
is,
stay
but
healthy.
like you also gotta look at it from a Jalen Ramsey perspective, because it's not like
Okay.
he, he gotta really believe he have a chance to win a championship. because I
Okay.
feel like he wasted most of his career in Miami. So the next few choices he make is gonna be for a contender, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm
Not
trying to.
saying Green Bay ain't, because they damn near is a contender. I'm just saying I feel like he could get better choices.
Yeah, I think so. It's some notable names that's free agents right now. I'm gonna list up a few of them before we conclude the show. But you got James Bradbury,
Yeah.
not too really feeling that. Kendall Fuller,
Mm.
maybe. Stephon Gilmore, old as hell though, but I feel like he still got some game. You got Rasul Douglas that was out there, former Buffalo Bill,
I wouldn't be mad at that.
maybe. Yeah, and then after that, yeah. I mean,
Nick Bosa
Asante Samuel Jr. I
ain't
don't
bad.
know.
I
Yeah,
do.
yeah. So they got some. Hey, Eli Apple. No, I'm just playing.
Hell no.
I'm just
Do it
playing.
for our sake. Yes. For our sake, yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, but hey, there's some notable names out there. We'll see if they are interested in any of those guys that's on the street right now. Maybe bring in some type veteran leadership in there. And me and my man Steve ain't had no coffee. The Lord said this morning, "Are you sleeping good? Here's some
Wake your
breaking
ass
news.
up.
Get your ass up." So we had to get up. But hey, man, Steve ain't got nothing left. I ain't got nothing left. Y'all just make sure y'all stay locked in and tuned in, because there'll be more content on the way. We've been pushing these videos, man. So hit that like button and subscribe and share this with somebody that may actually like it. But we appreciate y'all, man. Make sure y'all always love football, and we're going to catch y'all on the